All right, so let me show you. Honestly, this is a headline that it's so egregious that you can't believe it's real. Again, this is disgusting, but Mike Elk of Payday Report, and he used to work for The Guardian and Politico. He's a reporter, and look what he found out. Striking garbage workers in New Orleans making $10.25 an hour were fired this week. Now they're being replaced with prison labor. Prison labor. So, one of the protesters, one of the garbage men who's leading the strike, said the following: $10.25 to pick up trash. Come on now. It's contaminated with coronavirus. So what they're asking for is protection, and they're asking for hazard pay, which is only like super duper reasonable, and coronavirus bill number 1 should have had hazard pay in it, and it didn't, and it doesn't. And now we're on the 4th or 5th or whatever the hell we're at now, and we still don't have hazard pay. Some companies are voluntarily doing it, but it's very few. Very few. We need a law on this front. So, garbage men, dangerous job in this day and age with what's going on, $10.25 an hour. Hey, raise our pay a little bit and give us some protection and we're good money. Nope. Nope. They brought in prison labor. Guys, I hate to be so blunt with everybody, but there's another way to describe that. They brought in slaves. They brought in people who don't have a say in whether or not they get to do this. They're told you're going to do this. Kanye was right. We got to abolish the slave labor system that we still have in prisons. I mean, look at this. Why wouldn't you be able to just bring them in when anybody strikes? Whoever it might be. You know, whatever. Whole Foods workers, Amazon workers, they're striking too. Why can't, bring in the slaves/indentured servants to work for next to nothing. And by the way, who's to say they won't just continue having these people and screwing the workers now, because they probably don't pay them anything. Because they don't have to, I don't think. Or maybe the tiniest amount, maybe way less than $10 an hour probably. But look at this. This is where we're at in the year's 2020 still. And you wonder why we need, organized labor. You wonder why we need to, I'm avoiding the word revolution, but now I'm leaning in that direction. You're going to bring in slaves to replace workers? We shouldn't even have slaves. Slaves in 2020. Eliminate the prison labor. This is insanity. How is that not already done? And how is it okay to just casually replace workers with slaves? This is how little we value workers? Devastating. We need organized labor. We need stronger labor laws. We need universal basic income. We need hazard pay for the duration of this crisis. I mean, this stuff is obvious, man. And by the way, nobody else is covering this. Nobody else is covering this. Mainstream media, they're not going to touch this story. What an amazing story. This is wild. This is happening in 2020. And the final thing that I want to point out here, and again, credit to Mike Elk for tracking this. You ready for this? Since March 1st, in the U.S., you know how many COVID-19 related strikes there have been? Where working people are like, listen, we need protection, we need hazard pay, you got to work with us here. You know how many there have been? 191 strikes since March 1st in this country. 191 strikes, 191 different attempts of workers, respectively, around the country going, hey, bro, we need protective gear and we need some more pay. It's a pandemic. You want me to go out there and maybe die for this job? Are you serious? More pay and protection. 191 strikes. 191. How many of those have you heard about on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News? Probably none of them. Maybe one or two. Then meanwhile, a right-winger farts, and it's like, oh, let's cover this for 3 weeks. I'm, of course, referring to, when they all went into the Michigan state capitol with guns. And I said, hey, man, listen, if that's what it takes to get eyeballs on the protests, okay, then have some left-wingers show up to a state capitol or two with guns. Don't use them. I believe in nonviolence to my core. Never use them. But if it just takes holding them and showing up to get the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So, okay. Then we'll make some more noise. Here, see? Now we're protesting for labor rights and we're packing heat. How you like them apples? Hey, if that's what's needed, so be it. But 191 protests, basically none of them covered. These are workers' protests, so demanding to be treated fairly, so they lean left. Almost no coverage. Because it's not sexy to ask for health care and protective gear and higher wages. But it is sexy when you say, open everything up so we could all die quicker. And here, now I got guns and I'm wearing an American flag shirt. For whatever reason, the media loves that stuff. They don't like the left-wing protests. But this is where we're at, man. Slaves are replacing garbage workers and everybody yawns. This is unconscionable.